watch. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Using unparalleled research in the development of a synergistic formulation based around the key concepts of super oxygenation, the next level in cleansing is here. With key ingredients backed by real clinical studies, the new Oxy Powder, available through InfoWars Life, was invented during Dr. Group's research on the toxification of our bodies. Many herbal colon cleansers are harsh on the body and contain cheap and potentially dangerous ingredients, oftentimes full of synthetic fillers, GMOs, additives, or worse. Gently start cleaning your body with easy capsules that start working while you sleep. Oxy Powder does not require time off work, and there's no need for bad tasting concoctions. Instead, Oxy Powder slowly releases monoatomic oxygen into the intestinal tract and body. Experience the astonishing cleansing power of superoxide and ozonide technology. Go to InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com to get started with Oxy Powder, or call 1-888-253-3139.
From the water table to our soils to the atmosphere itself, our world is becoming more and more toxic each and every day. But it's not just the air outside that's toxic. Indoor air has been shown to have 2 to 5 times higher concentrations of pollutants than even outdoor air. And most Americans spend 90% of their time inside using toxic chemicals within their homes. There are more than 42 million smokers in the United States. Well over 1,000 types of mold and mildew linked to numerous conditions. And don't forget the fact that 6 million Americans live with pets they're allergic to as well. When I began to research these statistics, it was clear to me it was time to start cleansing my lungs in order to combat the toxic environment that we cannot escape, but that we can fight back against. Made with organic and wild cultivated herbs and manufactured in the USA, the new InfoWars Life Lung Cleanse is here in a convenient spray bottle that can be brought with you throughout any toxic environment. Now available exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic Super Male Vitality formula. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose.
I jump out of bed ready to fight these criminals every day. I look forward to waking up and taking my Super Male Vitality.
Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality and other powerful products from InfoWars Life.
The government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put 2 and 2 together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
Waging war on corruption. It's Alex Jones.
It's the time of the season when love runs high.
All right, folks, Alex Jones here, back live. Let me finish the clip. I know I've already played it multiple times yesterday, but it's so important. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff there admitting what's already been admitted by other generals, that the Arab countries, our allies, Saudi Arabia and others, are arming al-Qaeda. But that's a fallback position, because our government is arming the Arab countries that are arming al-Qaeda, but also directly doing it. And that's what Benghazi was all about. So it's just hiding in plain view. And if you're a radio listener, you can't see the body language of Dempsey, but it's so rich as they start basically arguing and saying, oh, come on, they just messed up. They didn't know. They didn't understand. It's the narrative wearing thin. Then I'll get to the Ebola report. So here's Dempsey.
So our national defense, in terms of stopping ISIL from killing thousands or millions of Americans if they get the capability, really comes down to whether or not we can convince the Arab world to go in there and defeat these guys?
It really comes down to building a coalition so that what the Arab Muslim world sees is them rejecting ISIS, not
They
us
already
defeating them.
reject ISIL. Do you know any major Arab ally that embraces ISIL?
I know major Arab allies who fund them.
Yeah, but did they embrace it? They fund them because the Free Syrian Army couldn't fight Assad. They were trying to beat Assad. I think they realized the folly of their ways. Let's don't taint the Mideast unfairly.
Oh, let's don't taint where 15 of the 19 hijackers supposedly came from, and that 28-page report. Speaking of that, and that's why I mentioned this today, Paul Watson put the article out yesterday. I'd requested he do a report on this. He has. I want to thank Paul for his great work. Pound or hashtag declassify, campaign to reveal the 28 censored pages of the 9/11 Commission report. And then when you pound declassify, or when you hashtag declassify, it then sends everybody to Ron Paul, Rand Paul, Congressman Walter Jones that introduced this legislation, Colonel Schaefer, and countless others exposing what's really in the 28 pages. And that's that our government stood down bare minimum. Ron Paul has now come out and said, yeah, okay, 9/11 trip was pretty much right. There was at least a stand down. And Saudi Arabia was quarterbacking things, just like they're quarterbacking ISIS right now. And then why the federal government just loves it. The FBI doesn't have to go out and, you know, manufacture any deaths. Doesn't have to, you know, find some mentally ill people to blow something up, or maybe the patsy speaks out and it gets embarrassing, so they kill them and dump them in Town Lake. I mean, they don't have to do that anymore. Because they can have real terrorists attack us. And everybody gets a big paycheck and gets to go watch Jack Bauer on the new season of 24 or whatever new show they'll have, where we learn to torture, we learn to do all these bad things because we're the good guys. It's not that we like to torture. It's not that we like to do all these bad things. No, no. Well, we're the heroes. That's right. Totally sick. And is that a world you want to raise your children in? Where there's just, the government does whatever it wants. They got a name for it. It's called nightmare. It's called hell. It's called a living, breathing, stinking mega hell. A total hell. And that's what we're entering. That's where we're going. We have to recognize it. We're not being negative here. We're breaking down what we as a society really face, where this journey is going, and all these cowards and all these children, adults that never had good mothers or fathers who are arrested development, who are children. They see the state as their father, the state as their mother, and empowerment through the collective estate. Whether it's the controlled leftist or the controlled right, through authoritarianism, that's how they expand their empires of control freak behavior. And it's a society run by these people. Narcissistic, self-important, mentally ill monsters whose whole lives are based on betrayal. Whose whole world is based on deception. That's not a world at all. That's hell. They're building hell on earth. They're working for hell. When Obama says, forward, lean forward, an actual Stalinist, Leninist, even predates that, Marxist, with people in jumbo jets and red carpets at Hollywood events who are tax exempt and just roll around in giant buckets of fiat money, lecturing us with weird Karl Marx stuff about how our kids don't belong to us. Because, see, that's for us. We're going to live in a shack and eat GMO and die when we're 45. They're going to get all the life extension and just fly around up there laughing at us. And if we try to get together, well, they'll just send in some agent provocateurs to get a race war going, or to stir everybody up and balkanize us, or send in some other COINTELPRO or cognitive infiltrators, who they now announce, oh, the CIA is going to operate domestically with cognitive infiltrators in 2014. Oh, great. Isn't it wonderful? And, oh, it's not for Al-Qaeda. It's for you. You don't like Agenda 21. You found out it's real. You got the documents. You learn the zoning commission is getting flown off to New York and paid off to be part of this. You learn they're going to take over your whole town. Why, we'll just send in some FBI informants. That's another name for people that set people up and harass them and engage in criminal activity up against a bunch of old farmers. That's what's happening now. They send in these young bucks out of the universities that or little agents, little secret police, and they march out and go harass Tea Party events and go and mess with everybody. I mean, that's where we're going in this country. Meanwhile, there is Ebola that appears to be becoming more and more resistant to being able to live in the air at least a little while. And it's spreading all over the place. And a lot of top virologists, again, estimate 5 million will die. I'm not saying that. That's in the major German newspapers like Bild. Not tabloids. And Obama's sending troops in to, quote, fight it who aren't trained. And General Boykin's gone public in WorldNet Daily and said it's horrible. They would never do that in the past. See, I'm no military man, but I've read the news over the years religiously, and I know that that's missions they wouldn't do in the past because they know that it'll just spread it and then bring people back with it, and it really doesn't even do any good. But it doesn't matter. They're doing it anyways, and they're going to bring people back here. See, they don't do things the way they did in the past. It's a recklessness. It's a wildness of an elite that's above the law, unaccountable, gets away with anything they want. In China, melamine got in the baby formula, and they executed a bunch of the executives, not defending their system. I'm just saying here, the executives owned the media. They just had USA Today come out and say, well, the FDA came out and said, but they reported, hey, some melamine, not bad. It's just enough, you know, to cause kidney failure down the road. But, hell, the kid will be 30 when his kidneys fail. Won't know why. Hell, what's wrong with going on dialysis for a decade and then dying? I mean, come on. What's wrong with Bayer knowingly? NBC News, you can just type in Bayer blood scandal. Knowingly, in more than 14 countries, from the United States to Australia, from India to Canada, from France to Russia, sold Factor VIII blood platelet in giant batches produced from blood from prisons, and they knew every single production of it. Giant vats of different blood types poured together had HIV and hepatitis in it. And they shipped it out. And it came out in the memos, and France was the only country to convict anybody, that the executives knew it and said, so what? Oh, man, hey, so what? So what? People need some clotting agent, hemophiliacs. So what if you're a little kid and you're a hemophiliac and you take Factor VIII and then you die, horrible, excruciating HIV and hepatitis? So what? Just kill them. And, hey, don't ever criticize that or you're anti-government, man. Just bend over and take it from Bayer Pharmaceuticals. After all, they did such a great job in Nazi Germany, didn't they? And maybe one of you fruitcakes out there could send me an email about how good Hitler was. I'm going to throw up. What we're fighting, Hitler adopted from the nuts that run society. Oh, God, it makes me sick. It makes me so sick how there's just all these cowards just going along with this as it gets worse and worse. We're going to tell you what's coming up with the nationalist leader urges Scots to grasp independence. Campaign borrowed heavily from Obama tactics. British pound at 2-year high. Currency traders bet no. Voting begins. You know, I heard Lord Monckton on the other day when I had a guest host near Rob Dew. And I got his point. I mean, he'd say we could have independence if we weren't under the EU, but the EU is just going to come in and take over Scotland anyways. And then you've got basically the Labour that's basically like the Democrats, and as bad as the Tories are, you know, this is just going to be like a communist wonderland. And that's kind of what will happen. You'll trade one boss for a new boss, like the WHO says, won't get fooled again. But, hey, if they want to vote independence, that's fine. They will then go through that process of being raked over the coals like anybody that joins the Euro. Basically, Scotland's just joining the Euro, even though England's already joined it, to be gang-raped more. And I said there's pitfalls to this. I mean, I support it if they want to vote for it. Because you're just going to leave one system and go right back into the same system's arms another way. It's kind of like you're throwing a ball from your left and right hand. I don't know. It's a very sophisticated issue. It's bizarre. All right, let's go to this